in sports.
We are coming to you, as you can see, from the desert in Phoenix, Arizona. Where tonight? WGN Sports presents White Sox baseball. It's Todd Frazier, Jose Abreu in our Sox as they get set to butt heads with Paul Goldschmidt and the tough Arizona D-backs. Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm Ken Harrelson with Steve Stone as we get set to bring you Game 2 of this three-game set. As you may or may not know, last night in the opener, it was just a mismatch. We ran into a good Major League pitcher who was hitting his spots. We got fewer good pitches to hit than any game we have seen in a long time for our hitters. And it was just one of those things. In fact, Leury Garcia was the only guy to do any damage.
Sometimes all you really need is an opportunity, and Leury has gotten just that. He's hitting .289 this year. He's hit 5 home runs, driven in 15. Here was the 5th. He got a rolling breaking ball, took it out of the ballpark. That is the lone run against Zach Greinke. He was in command from start to finish. Leury's done a great job, and wherever he's playing, he gives you a quality defensive effort to go with that bat from both sides and all that speed.
And he can play anywhere you want to put him out there. But Yasmani Tomas is back in that lineup for the D-backs.
Seems like most teams now have one Cuban slugger on their team. Some have a few more. And Yasmani Tomas is theirs. This is a very strong guy. He got $68 million to sign. Sound familiar? Well, it should. That's what Jose Abreu got. Now, Abreu has really come to life, and Abreu has lived up to what he was supposed to be. Tomas is starting to do that. Hitting in excess of 30 home runs last year. He's got big power. He's in left field today. Now, that's a bit of a problem for him because he's not exactly a gazelle out there, so maybe we can take advantage of that,
to say the least. Meanwhile, Dylan Covey looking for his first Major League win.
It's a good matchup. Dylan Covey's throwing the ball a whole lot better. Last time out, he threw it very well. In the last 2 starts, Covey looks like he's starting to figure it out. There you see the no decision against Seattle, and he threw the ball pretty well, but unfortunately, he did not get a win. Patrick Corbin on the other side, after Tommy John surgery, the slider isn't quite as good as it was, but he's throwing the ball fairly well, and he's got a big offense behind him. So this Diamondback team can score. Hopefully tonight, they don't do a whole lot of it.
All right, Game 2 of this three-game set, so sit back, relax, and strap it down. White Sox baseball with Ricky's Boys coming up next. Brought to you by your Chicago and Northwest Indiana Hyundai dealers. Stop by today and visit buyhyundai.com and see why at Hyundai better drives us. By State Farm, here to help life go right. By Meyer, true Chicago fans. By Ford, inviting you to visit your local Ford store. By FordNow.com. And by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. And by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois. Choose Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, the card to carry it through it all. And by Honda. Great deals are waiting for you now at your local Honda dealer. Stay tuned. Rigger and Taria's White Sox take on the D-backs. Coming up right here over WGN.
Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Welcome back to Chase Field. The roof is open once again here in the desert. And when the roof is open here, that means the park is very lively. So a good matchup tonight. It's Covey, and for them, it's Corbin. And we'll see how that works out. White Sox Dunkin' Donut lineup. America runs on Dunkin', and here it is with Tim Anderson leading it off tonight. Tyler Saladino back in the lineup and hitting second. Then it's Jose Abreu, Todd Frazier, Melky Cabrera, who's hit safely in 8 of his last 10 games, then red-hot Leury Garcia, Willie Garcia, Kevin Smith, and Dylan Covey rounding it out, and he'll get a chance to swing the bat. The defense and how they'll line up behind Patrick Corbin. Yasmani Tomas in left field, Ray Fuentes in center, and then David Peralta in left. Then it's Lamb, Ahmed, Drury, and Goldschmidt in the infield with Chris Herman behind the plate and Patrick Corbin on the hill. The left-hander with a pretty good slider. If you look at the numbers, hasn't been the greatest of years for him, but 42 strikeouts, only 15 walks. That part of it is good. He has given up 8 home runs. This is a wonderful park to hit the ball out of. The umpires for the game tonight. The crew chief, Ted Barrett, is behind the plate. Angel Hernandez is at first. Lance Barksdale at second. John Tumpane is at third. So it was all Diamondbacks last night as Zach Greinke was absolutely masterful. Corbin has struggled a bit, so it'll be interesting tonight to see if the right-handers can take advantage of him. Avi Garcia, who they thought about starting in this ballgame, as they do most nights, is scratched from the lineup, suffering from flu-like symptoms. There is the skipper of the Diamondbacks, Torey Lovullo, 9-year minor league manager, was a part-time Red Sox manager, 28-20 when he took over for John Farrell for those 48 games. Ricky Renteria on the other side, hoping to get a little offense tonight, and it should be an offensive evening. So they've thrown the ball around the infield, which means we're ready to play baseball, and I am ready to turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Ken Harrelson.
All right, Stoney, thank you. And once again, good evening, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball right here for WGN Sports. So I hope you could join us for game 2 of this 3-game set. And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours, as here is the first pitch of the ball game. And that's taken downstairs.
Hopefully they will be patient with Corbin, who has had some location problems. Control has not been near what he would like.
That ball hitting the gap. Nobody's going to get that one. So they're going to get it back in, and he will start it off with a double. That is his 5th two-bagger.
He got a fastball right down the middle, and he just crushed it in the gap. And this is an oddity with Corbin. More times than not, when guys start making good contact early, then he starts nipping at the corners, and we'll see if that holds true, and he falls behind early in this one.
So here's Saladino. He has a job to do. And the right side, knowing that, come in. They're halfway. There's that pitch high and wide.
Corbin had one of the great sliders in the game and then had Tommy John surgery. And since coming back from that, he has thrown some good ball games, but the slider has never quite been the same.
Drops the hook on him. It's up high. Call the strike. Outfield slightly to the right. And here at Chase Field, 330 down the left field line, 335 down the right field line, 376 in the gaps, 407 dead away center. Had a couple of 413s out there, just probably about 60, 70 feet to either side.
Normally in most ballparks that would be a long way. Guys reach it routinely here.
Trying to take it to the right side. And now the count 1-2. Sox come in hitting at .245 as a club with a 3.67 ERA.
Corbin originally signed by the Angels, 2nd-round draft pick back in 2009, traded to Arizona relatively early in his career, and the Diamondbacks brought him to the major leagues.
Still trying to take it to the right side. Sox come in all time against Arizona at 5-8, but on the other side of that page in interleague play, since we started interleague play, Sox are 202 up, 165 down in interleague play. That is 4th best behind the Yankees, Red Sox, and Angels.
It's pretty good company.
Yeah. So they executed well. Meanwhile, all right now let's check out our picks to click. There you see fans went with Anderson, Crew's going with Frazier, Steve's going with Willie, and Mike Mazin, his crew. Larry Majorak, Tom Eichstadt, Pete Catazone, Laura Arenas, Mary Weiss. We're going to go with Saladino. And a reminder that before each game, visit WhiteSox.com/picks and select your White Sox position player of the game. Here's Abreu.
One thing Corbin doesn't want to do with him is throw him an off-speed pitch inner part of the plate, because Tomas is well off the line in left field. There you see the defense. They're kind of bunching him, giving him both lines, but taking away the alleys.
Well, a lot of times you can do that with you're going to do that with a guy who can really run. But most of the time for guys not that fast, you don't do that. And that's low. 2-0 the count.
You would think that with first base open, even though it's early in the ball game, you've got Frazier coming up at 192, that he would probably be careful with Jose in this situation.
There's an old saying, you can lose a game in the first inning just like you can in the ninth.
You can certainly do that, especially pitching to one of the best hitters on the opposing team with first base open.
There he was guessing a strike and didn't get it.
And that slider well out of the zone told me that he doesn't mind if he walks Jose. He's inviting him to get himself out of the strike zone.
Now he'll back it down.
Corbin last year a tough year for him at 5-13 with an ERA of 5.15. He's still trying to find the magic like he had in 2013 when he was 14-8.
That evens count at 2.
There you look at the career numbers. This is start number 99. He's only thrown 3 complete games. He will throw inside to right-hand hitters because unlike many pitchers in this league, he is glove side strong, meaning inside to right-handers, away to left-handers, as opposed to arm side strong, which would be away to the right-handers.
Now this is where you can make him change that approach by backing off the plate if you're a strong right-handed hitter. Take that slider away from it because anything that starts off inside is going to be a ball, and beat him in those seats out there in right field.
Probably be a good plan with him because he just doesn't have that great feel on anything away.
Even if you make an out, it's still a sense of control. You are controlling to a degree what's going on out there. That's in the center field, hit hard. Meanwhile, caught. So Tim will tag, moving to third, and that's a hang. Wolf, 2 down.
He got his hittable fastball. It was low and in, and he hit it right on the button. But Fuentes, who played left field last night, is in center field, and he's got some pretty decent speed. So this is good, solid contact, but unfortunately, hits it right at Fuentes.
Here's Frazier. Tied 0 for 2 last night. 3 for 10 lifetime off Corbin. Yep, out there in left center.
One of the things Sox hitters should be concentrating on is see how many times Corbin can throw a strike outside to right-hand hitters. And if he doesn't do it very well, then just look in. And there's 2 pitches away and 2 pitches way off the plate.
Well, it's just trying to gain a sense of control. That's what it is. And call that an approach. That's when you let your thoughts dictate your mechanics rather than your mechanics dictate your thoughts. Back door there. Got quite a bit of the plate for a back door. There's Timmy. High pop up. So the leadoff double goes for naught. After half inning play, it's our guys nothing and their guys coming to bat.
under Torey Lovullo. It's Fuentes, Peralta, and Goldschmidt at the top with Lamb, Tomas, and Drury in the middle. Herman, Ahmed, and Corbin rounded out the defense, and how they'll line up behind Dylan Covey left to right. Cabrera, Garcia, and Garcia, only it's Willie and not Avi in right. Then it's Fraser, Anderson, Saladino, and Abreu in the infield with Kevin Smith getting the nod behind the plate and Dylan Covey on the hill. Looking for his first major league win. This is his 8th start. Opponent's hitting .322, which is a high number. The last couple of times out, he's thrown the ball better.
So here's Fuentes. Takes the bunt, takes the strike. Just going to get a little bead on Covey. D-backs hitting at .266 as the ball play. That's in the center field. And falls in for the base hit. Got Melky backing up. Right off the end of the bat.
Little slicing looper that was moving away from Liuri, and try as he might, he couldn't control it. Then it got away, but fortunately Melky was in the perfect spot. So Fuentes with a base hit to lead it off. Dylan trying to keep the ball in the ballpark, which is a tough task here. He's given up 11 home runs this year in just 35 1/3 innings.
Peralta 0 for 4 last night. They got a shift on for him. Watch out.
Peralta had a wrist problem last year, and it never really cleared up for him. He just played 48 games. The Diamondbacks a lot better when Peralta is healthy, when A.J. Pollock is healthy. Pollock on the disabled list. He's their center fielder, their fastest runner, and a guy that can put a charge into the ball, but he's having a hard time staying healthy.
That's flipped into center field. He didn't hit that ball at all, and it carried out there fairly deep.
No, as soon as they open this roof, the ball just explodes out of here, and it's very much a hitter's paradise. You love the low fences, I know, and even 376 in the power alleys, that's really close here.
This is a small ball park.
Yeah, it's a very small park.
When you got low fences, it's a small ball park. So here's the face of this franchise, Paul Goldschmidt. 315, 11 and 35. And again, talking to some of the Arizona people prior to the game, and they just absolutely love this guy, and more than that, respect him.
He goes out there every day giving you a great effort. When you look at his numbers, they compare favorably with just about any first baseman in the league, and you factor in that he has one of the best gloves around. So the last 29 games at 359, 9 home runs, 29 driven in. He's really started to heat it up as this season has moved along.
Well, he's 11 for 13 in stolen bases. Just a decent lead by Fuentes. Checks it up, takes a strike. Very seldom you're going to see a guy that is this good a hitter. And when you have an opportunity to try to get him out, especially in a big situation, it better be underneath the hands, inside. Not many guys today can keep that inside fastball like Ryan Sandberg could. Ryan was one of the best I ever saw at taking that inside fastball, hitting it hard, and keeping it fair.
Gary Sheffield, another guy that could do that.
Well, Gary also could kill some people over there in that third base dugout.
Yeah, he did.
Tony Conigliaro, former young slugger for the Red Sox, tragically had his career ended when he was hitting the head with a pitch. He could do it, but not many guys can. Except I forgot one, and I keep forgetting, and every time I go to talk about hitting the inside fastball, maybe one of the best maybe the best, maybe even better than Sandberg, Andre Dawkins. I mean, he could absolutely Tommy Hawk that inside fastball and kill it and keep it fair. What a player he was.
If Andre's knees hadn't gone south on him, there's no telling what he would have accomplished. He's a great player, Hall of Famer, but bad knees.
Well, he was something.
And that was probably, I mean, a lot that contributed to the knee problems was the fact he played on the artificial surface. And in Montreal in those days, the artificial surface was the worst artificial surface in baseball, and with no cushion.
That's what I heard. I heard that Montreal was the worst artificial in the game.
By far.
Well, look at Vladimir.
Yeah, another guy, same thing with his legs, same problem.
You'd think they'd all be very similar. That's not the case.
Kevin goes out there to have a word with Dylan. That last breaking ball hung. He's talking to him about maybe staying close a little longer. Some pitchers will shorten their stride if they can't get over the top of the curveball to get a little more spin on it. Could be that that's pretty much what they're talking about. Goldschmidt knows that he let Covey get away on that last curveball.
Goldschmidt was 2 for 4 last night with a homer. There he goes.
This team is going to run and run consistently. They're not quite as aggressive with Pollock out of the lineup, but that's stolen base number 46. They've only been caught 12 times, and they also love to steal third base. So Kevin Smith did the best he could possibly do. They picked a good pitch to run, and he couldn't control it.
Picking a good pitch to run is paramount for a consistent good record in stolen bases. That's his first in his first attempt. Now that big gap in left center. And here's the 2-2. Ball deep in the right center. Off the wall. And he's on his way to third. And it's 1-0 D-backs.
RBI number 36. It ties him for the team lead with Lamb, who looks behind him. Give you an idea how strong he is. This is a curveball. He just flicks it into right center field, and it keeps on going. I think if the roof is closed, Leary probably runs it down. It's not. He didn't, and it's a run.
That's his first triple. And this guy here is no day at the beach. Jake Lamb, he was 1 for 3 last night, but watching him hit the last couple days in BP, he does a lot of good things up there. He's got a good rhythm, a good trigger, infield in on him. Takes first pitch strike. He's hitting .289 with 11 homers and 36 knocked in.
Like to be careful here with Lamb because you have a double play target in Tomas, who's in the on deck circle.
It is 3-0.
Jake Lamb was tied and runs batted in. He untied it, driving in runs number 37 and 38 with his 12th home run. That gives him the team lead in both departments. Here is our Mazda replay cam, and this one stays over the inner portion of the plate, and Lamb absolutely crushes it. So they are a double shy of the cycle here in the first inning.
Tomas. Hitting at .252, 8 homers, 31 knocked in. That's the 65th home run for this team. We have 47.
This team is in this day and age of baseball, one of the rare combinations of very good speed and pretty big power. They got some guys up and down this lineup that can put a charge into it.
Two and 0. Tomas is a big man. And listed at 250, and that's a little light, I think.
When he first came to the major leagues and came up, I watched him in spring training quite a bit. He had a very difficult time hitting the ball on the left side of second base. Now he's got big power to right center field, but now he is pulling the ball a bit more.
Two and 2 the count. Just full. Well, idealistically, when you're going to sign a big power youngster, if you had to go one way or the other, you'd like for him to have better power to right center because you can teach him how to pull. It's harder to teach a guy how to go the opposite way with it many times.
That's been one of the characteristics of this Diamondback team. And that is just like our Sox. They always take the aggressive turn at first base. And Tomas, who's got decent speed for a big man, he aggressively took his turn thinking about 2 if the ball is mishandled.
He reminds me a little bit of Sano.
He's in that neighborhood, and here takes that aggressive turn before putting on the brakes.
Now batting, second base.
I think Tomas has good power. I think Sano has otherworldly power. There's Dave McKay at first base. One of the best, if not the best, first base coaches around. It has been for some time. And the unusual thing about Dave is that he gets in the same spot just about each and every time. And one of the things he's looking at are the keys from a pitcher and when he's going to go to first and when he's coming home.
Here's Drury. And they just do get him, but they put a 3 spot up on that board after one of this 3-0 Diamondbacks. Now they're going to hold it. They're going to check that one out.
Love is a burning.
From where I'm sitting, it looked like that he beat it.
I felt the same way, but we'll see. And apparently they're saying play on.
Good. So another double play, but meanwhile it's 3-0.
Fans, check out DBTV as we go down on the farm with the Arizona milk producers. We're looking at what's going
Leury Garcia and Willie Garcia. Cabrera 0 for 4 last night. There's a lot of our guys went 0 for.
Yeah, you run into a pitcher who's throwing as well as Greinke was throwing, you're not going to get too many hits. He certainly wasn't going to walk you. He walked one.
First pitch strike. Well, we got 4 hits last night.
And Omar got 2 of them.
It's one of those games you just scratch it off the schedule. That's all. That ball hit deep in the left field. Way back. He looks up. You can put it on the board. Yes. And it's a 3-1 ball game.
20th driven in on his 3rd home run of the year. That shows you just how lively the park is, because Melky got that one on the outer part of the bat, didn't get it on the sweet spot, and just flicked it out of the park at the 376 mark. He goes down and gets it. Catches it good enough, but not on the sweet spot, and rides it out of here.
There's Leury. Leury, 289, 5 homers, 15 knocked in. Takes the strike. Of course, with that home run, the Alex Nolius family, another nice donation to White Sox charities in loving memory of Ursula. One out.
Right fielder, number 61, Willie Garcia.
Well, they would 229 average, a homer, 5 knocked in.
Corbin keeps missing away, but he'll eventually bring the ball inside. As that one was middle end, and a good pitch he hit, but he fouled it back. Good swing though.
Two balls and a strike. Finale of this 10-game road trip tomorrow. This one didn't seem as long to me as the last one. And it's back through the middle of the board.
On this trip, you had some pretty nice cities to go to. And Anaheim, a little cooler than we would have expected, but beautiful weather, as I understand, was Seattle. And of course, down here, we're playing mostly in a dome, although the roof has been open the last couple of days. It won't be open tomorrow, but it's beautiful.
And the last trip started off in Detroit, 3, Kansas City 4, Baltimore 3. Ball hit high, stretch. It won't, right against almost against the fence.
Sox fans, if you want to manage a game along with Rick Renteria, log on to WGNTV.com and click on the WGN Sports Game Zone banner for the latest stats and information. Game Zone is powered by Dodd Camera, family owned and celebrating over 125 years. Dodd Camera, where the focus is on you.
So here's Dillon. Takes ball 1. Up for a second. Kevin Smith.
and tied it up.
Yeah.
He's strong enough.
He got out there. He must not have got it because it sort of died once he got out there. Taking Peralta on the track because there's a strike.
Last year, when this Diamondback team had injuries to Peralta and Pollock, they were abysmal defensively in the outfield. This year, they are a whole lot better. Hopefully, everybody's okay as that one rifled back over the Sox dugout. If you're going to be down that close in an area where there is no screen, you better be heads up. Now that swing was reminiscent of the one that I use. Is that a good swing?
That is what you call ugly. It's not ugly, it's ugly.
That's the same one I employ, and usually getting the same result.
Got him, Bud. Cabrera leading off the inning with his third home run, and it's a 3-1. Arizona lead.
WGNTV.com presented by Nationwide's Jeff Vukovich. Go to jeffvuk.com or follow him on social media because Nationwide is on your side.
3-1 bad guys. Chris Herman, the catcher, hitting at 203, 4 homers. He's driven in 10. Last year, he had 284, 6 homers, and knocked in 28.
One of the reasons I got Herman, they knew he wasn't going to hit for a high average especially, but they did like the fact that he will occasionally put a charge into one. He's won a ball game for them with some late home runs.
That's high in the left field and deep and gone.
That's why Herman is here, because that's what he can do. It's a Dylan Covey, who's had all kinds of problems keeping the ball in the ballpark this year, is having some more problems. He's now given up 13 home runs, just over 36 innings of work. Normally this is a routine fly ball just about any place in baseball save for Fenway Park. But here it just keeps on going. And Herman, it's his 5th. Drives in his 11th.
So here's Nick Ahmed, the shortstop. Takes first pitch strike. Softly hit. And Sox fans, you can host a pregame patio party this season. With the purchase, you receive a game ticket and can enjoy all-you-can-eat buffet and all-inclusive wine, beer, and Coke products. Now, the patio opens 90 minutes prior to the game and closes 30 minutes after the start of the game. So to get your tickets, visit whitesox.com/group. And that's the vicinity of the Bertucci boys. Bobby Bruno and Handsome Anthony. Well, I hadn't played golf out here for the last 2 years, but spring of 2015. I would say a minimum of between 5 and 10% further the golf ball goes out.
Oh, there's no doubt. And it certainly, I mean, you're seeing it here at the ballpark, and the ball just flies out of here. But starting in the beginning of June, they're using a humidifier on the baseballs, and that they think will help the pitchers out some.
Watch out. He's there. And that's out number 2. Yeah, it's
Center fielder, Ray.
they have some wonderful golf courses here. Wow. Out in Scottsdale, Desert Mountain, Mike Stuckey and his crew out there.
They got six
golf courses, 5 on site.
I was going to say 6 world-class golf courses.
5 of them on site. And the other one's only a mile and a half down the road. Mike, of course, who was at Medina. Now out here at Desert Mountain. So here's Fuentes. Had a little semi-Kansas City special. We start off the bottom of the first and picked up a stolen base. That was his first of the season. Yes, he did.
John Tumpane at third base, answering in the affirmative.
I was talking to some scouts last night and also this evening, and it was great to hear some of the comments made by them, because the first thing they do is they check with their stop just how hard a team is busting it down the line. As we'll continue with that when we come back, but the opposite field home run, it is 4-1 D-backs.
Play promotion. You can text Subway to 97999 right now, and the 300th texter will win a $30 gift card to a Subway restaurant in the Chicagoland area.
Anderson takes a breaking ball down and in. He doubled to lead off the ball game. We couldn't do anything with it. Arizona on top 4-1. Talking about those scouts, it was really nice to hear, because as I said, the first thing they do is they pull out the stopwatch and get guys' times down the line. And I told them yesterday about how just our guys were getting it down there. It's high in the right, short right field for 1 out. And so we were talking tonight. He said, Hawk, you were right. Those guys are busting some of the best that we've seen this year.
Been a very aggressive team, not only going to first, but going from first to third. And the coaches know, whether it's Daryl Boston or Nick Capra, they know to send these guys. Put the pressure on the defense. Get thrown out, you get thrown out. But the more you force the other team to execute, the more times you're going to be successful.
Well, most teams, most guys will go from first to third pretty hard. The biggest thing, though, is getting them to go hard down from the plate to first. That is the big thing. That can define a ball club. That can define an organization. If the organization tolerates it, not good. If the manager tolerates it, not good.
Both of these managers have the same philosophy. If you don't hustle, you're going to lose some playing time.
Well, it was good to see Konerko, Paulie, and his son Owen. They were here along with some friends prior to the game. That's out number 2.
His dad was here also.
Yeah.
I played golf with his father quite a bit. Nice man.
Yeah, he is, Hank. And he's been watching some games. He said he loves the way these guys are hustling.
How do you think it figures out for Paul? I know that he doesn't have to do anything, but do you see him coming back into the game anytime soon?
No, not anytime soon.
Because he'd be a great asset to whoever would bring him back.
Well, he developed into one of the best fastball hitters I've ever seen. Now, the best fastball hitter I've ever seen in this game was Frank Howard. Joe Pepitone, formerly of the Yankees, was an outstanding fastball hitter. And I would say that Paulie and Pepitone were close. But Paulie became a real good fastball hitter. And if you can hit a fastball, you can play in the big leagues. As hard as these guys are throwing today. You don't have to worry about the curveball, because if they get it over, you're not going to do anything with it anyway unless they hang it. We saw a good example of that last night.
Yeah, a couple times.
But you got to hit off the fastball, and it really makes it easier to think when you're just going up there hitting off a fastball. But you've got to be able to take the 0 for 4 when they get the breaking ball over. Because most of the time, a guy's not going to get 3 breaking balls to you and 1 at bat over. They're unhittable.
No, you're going to get 1 pitch to hit. Maybe not every at bat if it's a great pitcher, but you're usually going to get 1 pitch to hit. You just can't miss it.
Well, you hit the ball very hard to Fuentes in center field. It's great to see Joe Sparks last night. Dad of Greg, who was her assistant hitting coach. Watch out. Joe, one of the best baseball men alive today.
And there is Greg. He's growing into quite a hitting coach. And because of his father and the way he taught him, he's got good overall baseball knowledge.
Checks it up. Full count.
Jose can keep it alive. Todd will get his opportunity.
Watch out. Bullet back through the middle. So our fourth hit. But Paul's playing hockey. In fact, he played some yesterday, and one of the guys who came to watch him play was Gordon Buckner. He's rehabbing down here with Seattle and doing quite well until he pulled his hamstring. He's trying to rehab it.
I certainly wish him well. He's a terrific guy. He had some moments here. It didn't work out for him overall, but if he still wants to play, we're hoping that he plays well.
He's good. Gordon is a good man.
Yes, he is.
Todd takes ball one. He popped up to Goldschmidt. When Gordon first joined us, he looked like he was going to be a perennial all-star.
28 doubles that first year, wearing out right center field, and then it seemingly his stroke changed.
Well, he got back in the house of demons. He got back behind the plate. That's the house of demons back there. Those are the problems. That ball hit high and deep. He's back. He looks up. You can put it on the board. Yes. And it's a 4-3 ball game.
Fifth home run of the year. And 19 driven in. That makes things a little more interesting in our Ford drive. An opposite field bomb. Ford invites you to visit your local Ford store or buyfordnow.com.
Well, when you're strong like Todd is, and you got a left-hander out there on the mound, you got to try to beat him on the side. If you do that, you got a chance to stay on the ball. And he just, I mean, he can hit the ball a lot further than he did. And he still hit far enough to get a home run.
All you can do is, all you need to do is make some contact here.
That's right. There's a nice play by Goldschmidt. But two-run homer by Todd Frazier. And it's a one-run ball game.
On Dallas Keuchel, who went on the DL after starting 7-0 this year in 9 starts. That's retroactive to May 17th. He's got a pinched nerve. Injury Report is brought to you by Dr. Anthony Romeo, a proud member of Midwest Orthopedics at Rush. Go to RomeoOrthopedics.com or call 312-432 23-42.
Well, Dr. Romeo is one of those guys you might time, but you're not going to beat him. He's good. He will fix you up. Here's Peralta. Peralta went out to center field. Four 5-0 for their guys, 3-5-0 for our guys. Here in just the bottom of the third. We'll conclude this series, this road trip tomorrow. Come home, have an off day on Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the Tigers of Detroit come to town.
Had a doubleheader that Friday, and the makeup of a rainout earlier in the season.
So, one out. And a reminder, homecoming weekend kicks off this Friday, May 26th at Guaranteed Rate Field. Come see your White Sox take on the Tigers at 7:10. All fans are invited to stay for a post-game fireworks show presented by Village of Bedford Park. So bring your business home with Village of Bedford Park and win big. Get your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or call 866-SOX-GAME.
That time Goldschmidt did a nice job of waiting back on a curveball that split the plate, and fortunately he fouled it back. When you throw that off-speed curveball, if you don't see a hitter moving his hands forward, you know that you really haven't fooled him, and then you have to make an adjustment if you're out there on the mound.
Kevin out to talk. And there on the left, Steve Berthiaume and Bob Brenly, a very fine broadcasting team out here with the D-backs. Brenly, of course, former manager, won a championship with Arizona.
The only one they've ever won, and Bob was the skipper.
Yankees.
Yeah.
And never forget a little Kansas City special off the bat of Gonzalez. So
And
now they're.
Yeah, calling Hermie out is never a good thing. So Dillon called out Kevin Smith first after the last breaking ball.
Here's Beck.
So as Beck continues to throw, he'll have as much time as he possibly can, and so they're going to take him out. Something happened on the last breaking ball, and you don't want to go any further than that. So Chris Beck is going to be called into this to be given as many pitches as he wants to loosen up, and unfortunately Dillon has to leave the ball game. When we get an update, we will fill you in. So right now we'll step out, be back after these messages. on time. We saw him last night. He pitched a very good inning, pitched his way out of some trouble, and got one inning. It was the 6th inning. So you look at the numbers. He's been throwing it a whole lot better out of the pen, and he will let Ted Barrett know when he's had enough. He can take as many pitches as he wants, but normally relievers are used to getting ready very quickly anyway, so it shouldn't be a lot longer till he is ready to go.
Also, while he is warming up, the 2017 White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate. Buying a new home has never been faster or easier with the world's best digital mortgage. So go to rate.com now. There's no question that Chris Beck has the ability to pitch in the big leagues. He does, but he's got to have something to get those guys off his fastball. Doesn't make no difference what it is. It's going to be something to get him off his fastball.
Well, he's going to be given every opportunity to do that, and while he's in the major leagues with as good an arm as he has, all he needs is control and that secondary pitch. So if he can get that, there's no reason why he can't be successful here, and he couldn't be in a better place with Don Cooper and Kurt Hassler trying to help him out. There's a look at the man who just completely shut down the offense last night, Zach Greinke, who's 6-2 this year, off to just a great start. Those are the numbers from last night.
Well, for $200 million, he shouldn't be off to a 6-2 start.
Yeah. I mean, he got the same money last year, but unfortunately for him, had an oblique problem. Still managed to win 13 games despite missing 6 weeks. You know, it's kind of interesting because following that negotiation, he was actually choosing between the Dodgers and the Giants, and it was coming down to the final day of his decision, and the Diamondbacks put in that bid, put an extra year on the contract, got to 6 years instead of 5, and of course with that kind of money, was not a difficult choice. You might have taken half that.
Let me tell you something. As I said yesterday, that's one of the craziest contracts I've ever seen in my career.
It's rather stout. It was reported at $206.5 million. However, I understand it's a little bit higher than that.
Well, if it is, that even makes it more crazy. 1 out, 1-1 pitch. And that is caught. 2 down.
Nice play by Jose as he was well off the line, and this line drive to his left. Spears.
So here's Jake Lamb, a 2-run homer in the first inning. So we mentioned this guy's dangerous. He does a lot of good things up at that plate. Just a tad low.
In the first, he got what appeared to be a hard breaking ball. Didn't do a whole lot, but Lamb certainly did. And against right-handers, he'll hit behind Goldschmidt, giving him some protection. Against lefties, he's probably not going to hit in the 4 spot behind Goldie.
Yeah, he'll make you think as there's a 3-0 count.
This is a really good player. He hit 20 home runs first half of last year and then cooled off, wound up with 29, a big year overall, had career numbers in just about every offensive category.
There's one. No, come back and get him. No walks. You play in a ballpark like this, you do not want to walk anybody.
Plays very similar to Colorado. I mean, Colorado's dimensions are longer, but the ball flies equally as well, and walks kill you there.
Full count. So the count remains full. 4-5-0 for them, 3-5-0 for us. Here in the bottom of the third inning.
There's the new skipper, Torey Lovullo. He's going to be very good, and to his left you saw Ron Gardner, who's his bench coach and was a great hire for the Diamondbacks.
These guys have a very nice coaching staff.
They got a really good staff, and they put it together nicely. You've got a manager without a lot of experience. You need a man on the bench with him who has a world of experience, and Gardy certainly has that.
Three, two. He gone. Good comeback right there for Chris. And that'll do it. We're into the fourth, trailing by 1.
White Sox checking an official White Sox debit card only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/White Sox to learn more. Wintrust Community Bank, member FDIC.
It'll be Leary, Willie Garcia, and Smith. Patrick Corbin. D-backs on top 4-3.
If you've got this park as your home park, you just have to completely forget about that home run column, because it's going to show a lot of them by the time the season's over. As you know, your team's going to probably hit more than the visitors. That probably has a lot to do with the fact that these Diamondbacks are 19-8 here at Chase Field. So they've certainly taken advantage of the home cooking and the very comfortable dimensions here at the ballpark.
Well, you know, you get certain ballparks that, when I was a free agent, I almost signed with Atlanta. At that time, Atlanta's second highest elevation outside of Denver.
Fulton County Stadium, they called it the launching pad.
And it
Good
was
reason.
that. Well, I'll tell you what. So that should be a base hit with the speed of it. And it is.
Time now for the Ryan Kelly home field fact. And
Right
there it
field.
is.
Willie
Highest
Garcia.
National League home winning percentage. The Diamondbacks lead the Dodgers, who then lead Cincinnati and Colorado. So there it is. Home field facts brought to you by Ryan Kelly. Ryan Kelly, the homeloanexpert.com.
Well, here's Willie. Now, he shot a single, hard single, right back through the middle in the second inning. Outfield straight up. Just a step or two to the right. But we went in to play Atlanta some exhibition games in spring training one year, and when we couldn't believe it. Could not believe how easy it was to hit a little semi-line drive out of it.
They also had low fences all the way around to go with the fact that the ball just exploded out of there. Plus, they had the hitters that took advantage of it.
Oh, yeah. Davey Johnson did 42 in that ballpark.
They had Rico Cardi and they had Hank Aaron.
Well, those guys are going to hit them anyway. It's not that Davey wasn't strong, but not 42 wise. Decent lead.
Javi Garcia, if you're just joining us, scratched from the lineup. Flu-like symptoms, giving Willie Garcia a chance to play. He's taking advantage of that with an early base hit.
And the world counts. You're about a half a step bigger lead now. And now Willie with a 2-0 count.
Gregory Infante throwing in the pen. Normally, at this point, he wouldn't be throwing in the pen, but in the National League ballpark with Chris Beck due up fourth this inning. You got to get him up because you're going to take down Beck.
3-0 the count.
Kevin almost hit one out last time up. Maybe the second time is the charm.
That pitch off the plate for ball 4, and it was called a strike.
Normally when you can't hit your spot away, and Corbin can't, that is really a weak spot for him, is away to the right-handers. You just don't get the benefit of this call, but he did.
That pitch wasn't even close. And a full count. That pitch was not even close.
Well, now if Ricky Renteria thinks that Willie can make a little contact, he'll be sending Leary. Taking a long look down at Nick Capra.
There he goes.
Going through his set of signs. You don't want to get that really aggressive lead here and then take off, because the last thing you want to do is get picked off. You're being sent to stay out of the double play, maybe get an advantage on a base hit.
And there's ball 4. So the first 2 men aboard. First walk issued by Corbin.
Catcher Kevin Smith.
And here's Kevin. Kevin flies deep to the right field corner. So as they go out to have a little chit chat, reminder, Sox fans, join us on Memorial Day, May 29th, as our Sox take on Boston at 1:10. All kids 13 and under will receive White Sox patriotic sunglasses presented by Bright Star College Savings. So purchase your specially priced ticket today by visiting whitesox.com/brightstar529.
Mike Butcher out to the mound to have a talk, and Ted Barrett went out there to break it up, which he was able to accomplish. So we got some Sox fans,
a lot of them.
Blackhawks fans in attendance. One of the ways they were talking about is the defense of the bunt, and you can do it a number of different ways, but I don't think Kevin's going to be bunting, and apparently Lamb doesn't think so either, because he's back at third.
Outfield for the most part straight up. There's the best way to find out right there. Quick step off, and he broke it down. You got Matt Davidson out on deck. And that's foul.
On that play, at least, in one of the defenses of a bunt, Lamb stayed back. Now another way to defend this is Lamb charging and Ahmed going to third base.
And they wanted to give us the corners, I should say, a little better idea. Once again with a quick step off. Goldschmidt, from what we saw last night, very aggressive. Here he comes. See what that does is that just forces so much pressure on the hitter to have to lay it down on the third base way.
But when you don't bunt a lot, you're going to be stabbing at it. That's what Kevin did. He doesn't bunt a great deal.
Well, he does not. But the big thing too is that he sees Goldschmidt. Now he knows he can't go that way, so he's got to go that way. And when he doesn't bunt a lot, now all of a sudden you ask him to do something maybe that he can't do. Going to go foul. So that's out number one.
There's a lot of ballparks that would have never rolled foul, but this one is not one of those parks. We've seen a few of those parks in the past, as this one hugs the line, but Lamb does what he has to do, which is just let it go.
Well, he knows this. He should know his own ballpark.
And that's one of the things that visiting players have to do when they go to a road ballpark. If you're going to play the corner, you got to stand at home plate, roll the ball down each line, and find out if that ball is going to spin toward fair territory or will it go to foul territory.
One of the biggest factors in that bunt right there, attempt I should say, was Paul Goldschmidt. Davidson. Put that much pressure on him. Force it. Screw up.
That's again one of the advantages for the National League team when they're playing at home against an American League team is you're put into situations you wouldn't normally be put into when you're playing against your own division or own league.
Well, we're going to get the first 2 men on and can't do anything with it. We go to the bottom of the fourth, still trailing 4-3.
to you by ecobee 4 Smart Thermostat with built-in Alexa voice service and room sensor. Make your home work. And there it is. Who's hot? J.D. Martinez. He's back in the lineup and doing what he always does, hitting the daylights out of it. Julio Urias is not hot, so he's going to Okie City.
For Chicago now pitching, number 63.
Gregory Infante coming in the ball game. And he's on for the 5th time. No record, but a 5.40 ERA. Opponent's hitting not real well against him, just 231. So in a one run deficit, he's got to hold him right there. And then turn it over to the offense. But first things first.
And Dylan Covey, according to the club report, left the game with a left oblique problem and will be reevaluated tomorrow.
The injury of probably about 2007 or 8 until the present. More obliques than maybe in the history of the game.
Herm Schneider said he couldn't believe it. As here's Tomas. He singled his first trip. He said, Hermie said that all those years he's been here, he maybe had one, and all of a sudden, poof, here they come. There's a line shot, base hit.
Tomas is a natural right center field hitter, and he's strong enough to put a charge into it when he makes contact.
So here's Drury. Hit into a 5-4-3 double play his first trip. Takes first pitch strike.
There's a look at Dave McKay, who gets in the same spot every time to take a look at the pitcher, and he carries with him, like most coaches do, an iPad, and on that iPad is a key to each and every pitcher and what he's going to do when he goes to first base.
And there is a base hit, a double, and here they're going to send him home, and here's the throw. He's safe. Hey, that big man can move it.
He can run. Drury's driven in his 17th run. Drury, a converted third baseman who they had to teach how to play second, and they view him as a second baseman in the mold of Jeff Kent. Playing as an off-field hitter, and he pulls the ball, and it goes most of the way to the wall, and here comes Tomas. He is a big man, and he does run well. He cut the third base bag perfectly. He touched the inside of the bag with his right foot. That means you're not going to take that big a turn, and it worked out well for him. He scored easily.
13 doubles for that 24-year-old. Last year, Drury hit 16 homers and drove in 53, hitting .282, so he can swing the bat.
And what they did, Hawk, is they got him to lose some weight, and they worked on his footwork at second base to make the conversion.
Line shot. He gets back in. Good base running right there by Drury. That's a tough one not to get doubled up on.
No, I would say that turns out to be a great base running play. He started to call him out. You saw Lance Barksdale start to move the right hand up. But then he took another look and realized that he just barely beat him to the bag, or so we think. And now Joe McEwing wants to find out if indeed he did beat him to the bag. So they want him to take another look at it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the previous play is under official video replay review. The call on the field is that the runner is safe at second base.
It's a line drive rocket. It's hit behind Drury.
The review was initiated with a manager challenge.
Looks to me like he's safe, but they're going to take a look at it again.
That's close.
It's very close. That angle you can't tell.
He's out.
Got him.
After video review,
He is out.
the runner is down at second base. The call has been overturned. The Chicago White Sox retain their challenge.
Time now for a Danley's defensive play, and it's a line drive rocket. And gets there an eyelash ahead of Drury. When you think of garages, think Danley's 773 garages.
So here's Ahmed. Nick Ahmed.
He's one of the best defensive shortstops in baseball.
That's what I've heard. I've heard that. I was talking with a scout last year, not this year, but last year, about all the great young shortstops we have in the American League. And he said, well, Hawk, I've seen them all. And he said, they got a kid out there in Arizona that's better than all those guys.
Yeah, I watched him in the Arizona Fall League when he was first coming up. He had great hands, a very good arm, but he's always been challenged swinging the bat. He's getting a little better at it, but he's really struggled in that department.
Well, they weren't talking about lumber. They were talking about the leather. Of course, Lindor was not coming into prominence like he is now.
Well, I should say so.
He gone, but they come up with one, and we'll go to the fifth, trailing by 2. Sox drive home a run. Uber will make a donation to White Sox charities. Uber, the official rideshare provider of the Chicago White Sox and proud supporter of Chicago White Sox charities. Use Uber code SoxFan for $15 off your first Uber ride.
So apparently a baseball has gotten loose. And Yasmani Tomas made a new friend.
Top of the order here in the top of the fifth. 5-7-0 for them, 3-6-0 for us. This is still just thinking about that. Yasmani Tomas. hauling all that around the base paths. Man.
Well, that's one of the reasons
that
why.
was impressive.
One of the reasons why he's actually gotten better in left field. When he first started, he was having a hard time judging the ball consistently, but he always could run. So it's not like some of the big men who have no mobility whatsoever. He's got some, and he's got a pretty strong arm. He's still not judging the ball as well as he will.
There's that way out in front swing. So 1 out.
There's a slider. He can make it break bigger. He can tighten it up and use a short, quick breaking slider. And tonight, unlike some of the previous appearances this year, he's got pretty decent command of that slider.
Saladino 0 for 2. Tyler's had a big swing going for him lately. Started off real good. It was, for the most part, short and quick. When you're short and quick, you get a chance to catch up to the fastball upstairs. When you're long, you got no chance.
Well, he won the initial battle for second base with Yolmer, but Yolmer's gotten his opportunity, and boy, it's been just a terrific year. And Sanchez has made the most of his opportunity, pretty much secured the everyday role, getting the occasional day off, but overall, it's been Yolmer.
And there's a base hit. He didn't take a big long swing on that one.
This is a fastball out away, and the fact that it was up turns it into a line drive instead of a ground ball.
Yeah, he's using a big long swing. He can't get on top. But there is the right approach. Right-handed hitter against the left-handed pitcher. Beat him arm side. Here's Abreu. He's 1 for 2, and he's hit the ball very hard twice.
The last one almost ended the night for Corbin.
That ball hit high and deep, but they got a man there. And then a tag started, pulls up, and goes back to first.
Nice,
2 down.
Nice throw by Fuentes. He put it right on the money. Tyler wisely tagging up, but not going to run on that throw.
So here's Todd. He's 1 for 2. He cranked out a long 2-run homer to right center field in the 3rd inning.
How can I talk before the game about this? Some of you fans might remember Anthony Gose, who was with Toronto, then traded to Detroit. Couldn't make it as a position player, as center fielder. So they've converted him to a pitcher, and he was timed at 99 miles an hour last night. That is absolutely astonishing. Have you ever known a position player that can get it up there in the high 90s?
No. No. And I've seen some great arms, obviously. Position players, until they get on a gun like that, they have no clue on how hard it is to throw a baseball that fast. They think they can until they put them on the gun.
Well, you were, I mean, I know you were friends, and I know you played against Rocky Colavito a lot. He had one of the great arms of his time for the Cleveland Indians, and they always saying, what could he possibly do if he would ever go to pitch? Well, he couldn't throw at 99. I do know that. And there's no running starts from the pitcher's mound, so that's kind of a disadvantage.
Rocky and I played together in Kansas City. What a great guy.
Beloved in Cleveland.
And Detroit.
Yeah.
And everywhere he went.
When they traded him for Harvey Keene, who was a 300 hitter, and he came to the Indians, and Galavito went to Detroit. But the people in Cleveland wanted to do away with Frank Lane. He was the GM, the man they called Trader Lane. That one wasn't one of his most popular deals.
No, Rocky was something. Great with the fans, signed all the autographs. I never saw Rocky turn one down like Arnold Palmer. 45 years in Arnold and I butted heads. I never saw him refuse an autograph. Never saw him refuse a picture.
I mean, that's really a great quality for any person in the public eye, but especially a guy that is like Mr. Golf.
How about this? You know how many fan letters he got, right? He saved every one of them. He's got them all in the warehouse in Detroit.
I would think there'd be millions.
Yeah. Full count. That ball hit hard. And ball. It was caught.
It was an adventure. He made the catch.
Wow.
It was a very bad route. He took it off the top of the grass and made a routine play look really hard. But catching out of the inning.
My goodness, what a nice play. Todd still can't believe it. He's out there looking. And that'll retire the side. We're halfway home, trailing by 2. Patrick Corbin, the pitcher, takes the bunt, takes the strike. Gregory. Corbin fouled out to Cabrera in left field. Comeback one. And 1 out. And you can enjoy guaranteed rate field just like a player, because you can play catch in the outfield. You can also warm up in the bullpens. You can visit the dugouts and much, much more. And new for this year, a premier ticket that includes hitting in the batting cages. So join us for Family Field Day on Saturday, June 10th, and support White Sox charities. So to get your tickets, visit whitesoxcharities.org. Here's Fuentes. little soft single to lead off the bottom of the first. Stole a base and came around to score on the triple by Goldschmidt.
It was supposed to be a great pitching matchup for tomorrow's finale. Jose Quintana, and it was supposed to be Taijuan Walker, but he's on the disabled list with a blister, and we will find out who is going to start that ball game.
Three and 0.
Arizona, for the time being, is bringing a pensman out. Randall Delgado had a big year out of the pen last year. Probably going to start tomorrow.
There's a strike. And a full count.
There's a lot of confidence in that slider, throwing it on 3-1.
Well, that was getting me over. Usually those things get hit pretty hard. All right. 2 down.
One of the biggest challenges for pitchers on a chopper like that. You've really got to wait until gravity takes over. Your first instinct is to try to go up and get it. Now watch Gregory. He wants to jump, and then he realizes, well, he just doesn't have to jump all that high, but after one bobble, he corrals it, gets it across, and gets it.
Here's Peralta. Takes it up. He's going out to center and grounded to short. They have a shift on. And checking a few scores for you. Houston beats Detroit 6-2 down at the juice box. McCullers, boy, he's got some good stuff.
And he's off to a terrific start.
He's got some of the better right-handed stuff around.
5-1 with an ERA below 2.5 for Lance McCullers Jr.
Toronto beat Milwaukee 4-3 at Miller Park. Boston at home against Texas. Red Sox won that 11-6. High pop up. And now Anderson will take charge and make the play. And we'll go to the 6th. It is still 5-3 bad guys.
Chicago fans. And you can take a dip if you'd like to at the ballpark.
So here's Cabrera. Takes first pitch strike. He has homered. That was leading off the second, his third of the year. He's 1 for 2. Chopper up the middle. Good play by Ahmed.
It gives you an idea how much range he has. He was going away from the throw, able to get enough on it to get it across and make the play.
The ball came up very nicely for him. If it stays down at all, he's going to have a little more trouble. So here's little Uri. He's 1 for 2, had an infield single leading off the 4th inning. Takes a strike. Other scores. Mets beat San Diego 9-3 at Citi Field.
There's Matt Harvey in that one.
Angels shut out Tampa Bay 4-0. Shoemaker. So 2 down. And a reminder that MLB.com at bat is your #1 mobile app for live White Sox baseball. You can stay connected with a fully customizable experience.
Right fielder.
Get White Sox home screen icons and app features, as well as game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcast, statcast, news, and more. So download MLB.com at bat today. Willie Garcia is 1 for 1, a single and a walk.
That one got a good piece of Herman. So Ted Barrett asked him if he's okay.
Some other scores. Kansas City beat the Yankees 6-2 in the Bronx. Duffy, who's been pitching well, he's 4-3 with a 2.92. Minnesota shuts out Baltimore 2-0. Minnesota now 24-18. Santana 7-2 with a 180. Cubs beat the Giants 4-1 at Wrigley. Lester, he's starting to get it cranked up against Cueto. Bryce Harper hit his 14th homer. Washington crushed Seattle 10-1. That didn't take long right there. 1, 2, 3, all 3, 6 threes. We still trail it by 2. tail of the tape. It'll be Goldschmidt, Lamb, and Tomas. Very formidable threesome right here. Goldschmidt's 1 for 2, a triple, RBI. And he hit a rocket. Abreu made a nice play off.
They've got some decisions to make, and one of them after next season will revolve around this guy. And that is, he's got a very team-friendly contract. They might want to think about extending it. However,
they don't have any money.
That was the however. However, after over $210 million to Greinke, they got to make a move. And the way he's pitching now, you would think that a whole lot of people would be interested. The question would be for who and just how much you're going to have to pick up.
Two and one. Count evens at 2.
Gregory has some confidence in that slider, and Goldschmidt thought that one might have slid around the plate, but Ted Barrett had other ideas.
So the leadoff single.
Time now for the Giga-Time high-speed replay, powered by Xfinity, the future of awesome. In the first inning, Jake Lamb got a slider low and in and took it out of the yard at the time. Made it a 3-0 game, and now here comes Ricky. He wants a meeting with Ted Barrett. Probably going to flip-flop his batting order. And it's David Holmberg loosening up. So as he comes in, and Ricky Renteria gets his lineup squared around with Ted Barrett, we'll step out and be back after these messages. Play right field, and David Holmberg takes over on the hill. On for the 8th time. He's been terrific. 1.08 ERA. Last night, a spotless 8th inning. And he inherits Goldschmidt at first base. Now Yolmer is going to hit in the 9th spot. And that's going to mean that Willie Garcia, having left the ball game and making the last out in the 6th inning, Holmberg will be put into that spot in the batting order.
So here's Lamb, that 2-run homer and a strikeout. That's high to right field. Piece of cake. The Omen. He just missed that one.
I was going to say that he waited back long enough, and the only thing he didn't do is hit it out of the park. Is Yolmer tested early, equal to the task. Probably wearing a little bigger glove, well, considerably bigger glove than he wears when he plays second base. A lot of people don't realize that the size of glove many times depending on where you play. At second base, you don't want a big glove because you got to reach in and pick it out on a double play.
So here's Tomas. He's 2 for 2 with a run scored. Oh, 2 the count.
David was originally drafted by our Sox in the second round. It was back in 2009. Then traded to these Diamondbacks, where he got to the big leagues. Later going with Cincinnati and back with the Sox.
High, foul, and not played.
Ends up and going for the D-backs. We saw him for a third of an inning last night. It's hard throwing Archie Bradley. The Diamondbacks still think that he's going to be a starting pitcher. But right now, he's better served out of the bullpen, and he's made the most of it.
So the count hangs at 0 balls, 2 strikes. You're just tuning in. They scored 3 in the first. They scored 1 in the second. They scored 1 in the second. Todd Frazier, the 2-run homer in the third, and they added another one in the fourth. So it's a 5-3 Arizona lead. All right. Can't get it. 2 down.
Second baseman, Brandon Drury.
So here's Drury. He's 1 for 2, a double.
He's not going to play much third base here with Jake Lamb at third. That's why they shifted him to second. He's lost some weight to get more mobility. They worked on his footwork and the arm slot, and he's really taken to it.
I've been watching him the last couple of days in BP, and then tonight's first time I've ever seen him play in a game. He's impressive. Just 24 years old.
He can swing it, and he's been able to swing the bat wherever he's gone. It was finding a place for him to play, and with his natural position, as a third baseman. He's not going to get any playing time there, not with Lamb.
Durant of Grants Pass, Oregon. There he goes. And that'll retire the side. We're into the 7th. We still need 2 to tie.
Here to help life go right. Winning combination are the Garcias. Last 12 for Avi. Startling. And for Liuri, he's been equally as good. That's over the last 14. So the winning combination, one of the combos is sick. That would be Avi.
So Kevin will lead it off. Gomer on deck. Anderson in the hole.
You would think that Corbin would be on a fairly short leash. If he gets in any problems at all, Bradley is still throwing and ready to go in the pen.
There's a bullet back through the middle. Attaboy, Kev.
I want to see just how patient Torey Lovullo is.
I don't think he's going to be very patient at all.
No, well, he's got his man into the 7th inning, but he's only got a 2-run lead, and here he comes.
Right fielder, Yolmer Sanchez.
This ball game is over for Corbin.
And here comes Bradley.
So hard throwing. Archie Bradley comes on as Corbin departs. We'll be back.
a finale tomorrow afternoon here in the desert. Then, after the off day, the Tigers come to town for a 4-game series, followed by the Red Sox. Then it's off to Detroit. See your authorized Dodge dealers to experience the world of performance, design, and fuel efficiency. Go to Dodge.com and check out our powerful lineup. So Archie Bradley comes in the ball game. Former #1 draft pick, hard-throwing right-hander, on for the 14th time. We saw him for a third of an inning last night. 1.35 ERA, 27 strikeouts in 20 innings. With just 5 walks, he's been very good.
Pretty good athlete, as he committed to play football. He was a quarterback and baseball at the University of Oklahoma. Gilmer takes it low and away. Outfield just slightly to the left, bit of a gap out there in right center.
Fastball at 98, but he's behind 2-0.
Fouls that one, and to count 2-1.
Last year, these Diamondbacks saw their pitching staff absolutely dissolve. They used 29 pitchers last season. Normally, that's not a very good sign.
3-1 don't help him out.
He helped him out.
Don't help him out.
That ball was a good 6 inches down and off the plate. But good movement on a two-seam fastball by Bradley at 98.
Full count. He's not going to try to trick you, Gilmer. That ball hit hard in the center field. And what a catch by Fuentes. Wow, that was a good jump and a heck of a play.
That could have easily gotten over his head. They're used to an outstanding center fielder, but A.J. Pollock is injured. We saw Fuentes last night in left. Now we're seeing him in center. This ball slicing away at the last instant. He reaches up, grabs it, gets it back to the infield. What a play.
Dead. So here's Anderson. He's 1 for 3. Had a leadoff double. Threw that one right by. So 2 out. And that'll bring up Saladino. Tyler's 1 for 3.
Tyler Saladino.
That's in center field. That's Canacorn. So a beautiful play by Fuentes. Maybe saves the day for Arizona.
Your local Honda dealer. 5-3 ball game. It's tied at 8. It's been an airless game, and Corbin went 6 innings. He is the pitcher of record. Todd Frazier with a 2-run homer in the 3rd. Jake Lamb, his 2-run homer came in the 1st inning.
Chris Herman. Herman, who has homered and then lined hard into a double play. Got the shift on. Outfield around to the left. And there's a strike to even the count of 1.
Here is the solo opposite field home run in the 2nd inning. Believed it was going to be fly ball to left field, but instead it carried into the bullpen, making it 4-1 at the time.
Two and two. This full.
Ahmed in the on deck circle. And then the pitcher's spot.
Chops that one foul. Encarnacion hit a couple of home runs in that Indian 8-7 win over Cincinnati.
That's a frightening part, because he started off so slowly that if he starts to do what he normally does, and he will, they're going to be that much tougher offensively.
And Lindor hit his 10th. And here once again is the payoff pitch.
Give you an idea how strong that young man is. We're talking about Lindor. He's got the 2nd longest home run this year for the Indians. And surprisingly, it's not Encarnacion, but it's Yan Gomes who has the longest home run this year for the Indians.
That's into center field. Back at the track. And that's one out. Lindor's got a chance to be an all-timer.
Yeah, he's just a wonderful player and so very young. It is frightening to think that he's going to get better. He's going to get stronger. And he's very good and very strong right now.
So here is Nick Ahmed. And that's right at Little Erie. 2 down. Andrew Miller got the win there. He's 3-0 with a 0.40 ERA. Cody Allen picked up his 13th save. What a bullpen they've got. Wow. Lockdown bullpen.
You got the lead late, you're in trouble as Chris Owings coming on, and he's had quite a year for them. He started last night's game.
First pitch strike, Chris. Owings in the game last night was 1 for 3. Very quickly to count 0-2.
When A.J. Pollock went down last year, Owings played center field for them, but he's a lifetime shortstop, and that's where he's getting the majority of his play this year. And he swung the bat from the time the season started until now. He's had a very good start to this year.
One of the things I like about Holmberg, he does not look like he's afraid of the bat.
No, he's been really good, and couldn't come at a better time because he's only the second left-hander in the bullpen.
Well, it's amazing how many pitchers are indeed afraid of the bat. They don't like to pitch to contact. Try to pitch away from it.
Normally that leads to a lot of walks.
Yes, it does.
And if your stuff isn't good, that's not good.
He gone 1, 2, 3 inning. David. Fundamentals deck overlooks left field and is accessible from all levels of Guaranteed Rate Field. Now the space features batting and pitching cages, base running areas, and skill instruction from White Sox Training Academy coaches. And while you're there, check out the latest Xfinity technology, including the X1 platform. X1 by Xfinity. It will change the way you experience TV.
The new pitcher in the ball game, it is Jorge De La Rosa, who's been around seemingly forever. He's on for the 18th time. Sparkling year. Batting average against .204. That's magnificent. You look at the rest of the numbers, equally as impressive. He was a starter most of his career with these Diamondbacks, Milwaukee, Kansas City, and a host of others, including the Colorado Rockies. He's won 103 major league games. We haven't heard a whole lot about him, but he's got pretty good stuff, and he's found new life out of the bullpen.
Abreu. Yeah, he's been around.
He's 35 years old.
High, deep, back, you can put it on the board. Yes, yes, and it's a 5-4 ball game.
Ninth home run, 24th driven in. So De La Rosa greeted rather rudely, and things get a little more interesting. That's home run number 100. Maybe Jose can get that baseball back. This looked like the attempt at a screwball. Didn't do much except leave the yard.
So here is Todd, 1 for 3, that 2-run homer to right center field. Back in the 3rd inning. Rosa. Milwaukee, Kansas City, Colorado. For a long time with the Rockies. 5-8-0 for them, 4-9-0 for us.
I think Jose is motioning that he'd love the baseball back if they can make a deal for it.
We have stranded 5, they have stranded 1.
De La Rosa's best year by far, 16-6, and a tough place to pitch in Colorado. An ERA of 3.49. You put together that kind of year pitching for the Rockies in that park, it's a magnificent season.
And there's ball 4. And that'll bring up Cabrera.
Left fielder Melky Cabrera.
Cabrera has homered. He's 1 for 3. There's the bunt. Fouls it back into the seats.
I was trying to get that walking lead, and De La Rosa didn't want any part of it.
First and 30. Now outfield really spread out. Nice gap out there in left center. Pretty nice gap out there in right center. On the end off his glove. So everybody's safe. Now Todd will pull up and get back in the second. Don't stop now, boys.
Second hit of the night for Melky as this one comes off Ahmed's glove. Todd had visions at third base, but with nobody out, stayed at second. Hits the ball pretty hard. It would have been a great pick on the hop. Ahmed cannot corral it. So Mike Butcher comes to the mound. He's going to talk about how to defend against what they believe will be a bunt. J.J. Hoover. He's also had a nice run out of the pen. Spent the majority of his career in the Cincinnati bullpen.
So 1 in, 2 on, nobody out. And here is little Yuri.
And you got Avi in the on deck circle, so he couldn't start because of flu-like symptoms, but he is going to swing the bat.
There's the punt, and that's going to kick foul. Dadgummit.
Todd's got to be heads up at second base because the best way to shorten up a secondary lead is to employ the pickoff.
Toughest play for a base runner, another foul ball. This is the toughest play for a base runner in the game right here. Man on first and second, a bunt situation. The hitter has got to try to get that bat out of the zone as quick as he can to let that runner see it. But now the count 0-2. Chopper. That play is going to be to first base, so he gets the job done. And here comes Avi.
Only one play for Lamb. Now we'll see if they want any part of Avi.
Number 26.
I would think they'd put him at first base.
Yep.
And that's what they're going to do.
That's going to load him up with 1 out. Kevin Smith will be the hitter. Unless
he's going to take him down.
There's Torey Lovello coming out.
Now we'll see what Ricky has in mind.
So Ricky has got to make the decision.
Well, he's got Omar sitting on the bench.
That's the decision he's got to make.
Yep.
And he's made it. So Kevin will go back. Kevin, it was 1 for 3. Swung the bat pretty good tonight. He'll go back. Narvaez comes on, and we'll be back.
And one thing jumps out at you: 9 walks in 15 innings. However, he also has fanned 21. He's allowed a couple of home runs. He inherits the bases loaded, the game on the line, and Omar pinch hitting.
1 out. Hoover, 29 years old, 6'3", 240 pounds, out of Batavia, Ohio. And always a big pitching sequence, and he gets a strike.
Big advantage here is normally Omar will make some contact. Best arm in the outfield. Yep, it's close between Tomas and Peralta and left and right.
Very quickly, the count 0-2, so Hoover just coming right at him.
He had some tough times out of that Cincinnati bullpen, but he's done well here.
Checks it up, takes ball 1.
Nice block by Herman as he made sure that the tying run stays at third base in the form of Todd Frazier. Nice effort to his right.
Two down. And that'll bring up Yolmer.
Right field, Gilmer
With a chance to be a hero, hit the daylights out of the ball last inning. Only to see Fuentes make what at the time looked to be a game-saving catch.
He did indeed do that. Takes strike 1. Nice gap out there in right center if he can find it.
Back and throwing fastballs by him. Todd Frazier coming a good part of the way down the line. These two guys played together at Cincinnati.
2-strike pitch. For them, 4-10-0 for us.
That fan would love a base hit.
Herman's gone. Have a little chit chat. Now Ahmed comes in.
Drury comes in. They want to know if they're going to change signs. Another nice block. Slider in the dirt.
And a good check by Yolmer. So 2-2.
Started to go. Checked it up.
So he strikes out. And that'll retire the side. Abreu with his home run. It's a 5-4 D-back lead.
right field. Omar Narvaez stays in the game behind the plate. And you got a couple of guys hoping that he stays really healthy. One would be Tyler Saladino. The other probably be Yolmer Sanchez. As Tommy on for the 18th time. Terrific year. 169 ERA. 29 big strikeouts in 16 innings with 4 walks. And a straight change. He's been throwing for strikes all year.
So here's Fuentes, the leadoff hitter. He's 1 for 3. Had a soft single. And a stolen base run scored in the first inning. Just tuning in, they scored 3 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the fourth. He has scored 1 in the second, 2 in the third on Todd Frazier's 2-run homer, and 1 in the top half of this inning. Threw that one at 100, right on by it. Well, that one back.
Huge gap in right center field with Leary well over into left center and fairly shallow.
That one at 99, so 3 pitches, 100, 199.
What set him apart this year, though, is that straight change, because he's getting all of them over, and when you throw in triple digits, you're not going to be looking straight change. You'll be swinging on the balls in the catcher's glove.
Another souvenir. $17,865 under their average of 22,998. He gone.
It's a little tardy on that swing, was he? That ball literally was in Omar's glove. Watch it again. Maybe he's thinking about an off-speed pitch, but
listen, you pitchers laugh at that.
I know. It's great.
Hitters, we don't.
Well, you got to admit it was a touch tardy.
I guess. Here's Peralta. Yeah, you want to see some tardy swings. You already hit off Steve Dalkowski. You know, I was talking to a fellow, as a matter of fact, last night. Yeah. Joe Sparks was in on the conversation. I think Joe was one. There's a base hit. So Peralta, the 1-out single. I think it was Joe that brought up the fact that they had a method of, not a radar gun like they have today, but they had a method of timing or gauging speeds of pitches back. Bob Feller and Dalkowski. They got Dalkowski at 118.
Yep. They say, and for those who don't know his name, by acclamation, they say he was the hardest throwing pitcher in the history of the game. Yep. Unfortunately for him, he couldn't get it in the zone too often.
Right. I faced him a lot.
That had to be not real comfortable.
He was at Elmira. Earl Weaver was manager, as a matter of fact. He was in the Baltimore organization. And I was in Binghamton, and we played them a lot. And He was something. He was an alcoholic when he was 17 years old, and he said he just couldn't stop. Goldschmidt 2 for 3, RBI triple and run scored in the first, single in the sixth, and his only out was a line shot that Abreu made a real good catch on.
I don't think Goldie has seen a 91-mile-an-hour changeup too often.
No.
But that time he did, and he was not on it at all.
Yeah, these kids coming out today, it's just amazing how many plus 95-mile-an-hour fastballs are in the major leagues.
We've never seen more in the history of the game
No.
than we see now, and it's routine to see guys come trotting out of that bullpen in the high 90s or triple digits.
Pretty good pitch to the guy.
That one could have gone either way, and it went Goldschmidt's way.
Well, we have not had really any pitches in the first two games go our way. He gone. That one at 98.
Tommy just made a very good hitter look bad. There's a tardy swing also, and Goldschmidt can hit. I mean, he can hit anybody. But after establishing a couple of changeups in the at-bat, he was behind the 98-mile-an-hour fastball.
This guy here's got a pretty good trigger. If he gets it going quick enough, he can catch up. Good looking 26-year-old player. Now that was at 97. So with a 2-0 count, that's going to take about 6 inches off that fastball to the eye of the hitter.
Yeah, he's looking most likely middle in and thigh high.
And the count 3-0. Don't throw him a cookie. Tomas on deck. There he goes. High into center field at 97. And that'll retire the side. So a good job by Tommy Canley after a terrific job by David Holmberg. And we're into the ninth. We need one to tie.
closer, and that's 40-year-old Fernando Rodney. On for the 18th time. You see that he's just not fooling a whole lot of people with an ERA of 8.04. He's got a good changeup. That's been the best pitch his whole career. He's still getting it up there 95 miles an hour, and he's only blown 2 saves. He's got 10 of them, so the stuff is still there. But apparently, by looking at the numbers, when he's bad, he's been real bad. So Gregor Blanco comes on defensively for Tomas in left field.
Leading off for Chicago, shortstop.
As our boys need at least 1, but preferably 3.
Boy, he has been something, hasn't he, Stoney? I mean, he has been. Yeah, this guy got a good chance to go to Cooperstown.
The venerable Fernando Rodney.
That's how good he's been. I mean, that changeup he had, he could tell you it was coming. You couldn't do anything with it. So here is Anderson, top of the order for us. The Ricky's boys keep coming back. They don't pack it in.
Riley's control this year has been not real good. 9 walks and 15 2/3.
Nice pick.
Well, if he waits back at all, he's got some problems. You've got to come in smothered on a short hop, knowing that Anderson can run. Lamb was able to do all of the above and gunned him down.
Second baseman, Tyler Saladino.
Well, that's what they call recognition. And the good ones have it. And that kid's got a chance to be a good one. But you look at Rodney over the years of saves. Wow. $271 of them. That's borderline. $40 years old still. Of course, nobody will ever approach in modern day that's a
well, no harm, no foul with nobody on.
no, but nobody will ever approach Nolan Ryan as far as throwing hard
For as long as he did.
for his 27 years.
No concession.
27
No
years.
concession to the aging process for the Express.
That would at 94 at 40. There's the strike. Start us off right here, Tyler. There's that big swing that Tyler's been using. That's a little out of character for him. People say, well, how do you shorten up a swing? There's several ways to shorten up a swing. One thing is right now he is using so much arms, you're going to be long. When you want to, the first thing you got to go to when you want to shorten up a swing is your hands. You got to use your hands, and you got to no extension. Use your hands with some short arms, and you can shorten it up. That ball high and the left, and he just missed it.
Well, that was up there forever.
He just missed it. That gun.
First baseman, Jose Abreu.
This is what you like to see. A hot stick against their closer.
That's a fastball, and he got it inside, and Tyler got under it Hit it way up in the air, but it stayed in the park.
Abreu 2 for 4. He also lined hard to center and going out deep to center. Also was homer. The pitch. Close, and it goes right in his way. That was a good pitch right there. Didn't get it.
Maybe eating it up because that had the whole plate and it was thigh high.
Two and one. With Frazier on deck.
If the outfielders were any deeper, they'd need tickets because they are way back there, playing in a no double set.
Hit hard, but this ball game is over. So our guys kept coming back, had a chance to do some real damage there in the 8th inning, couldn't get it done, and we'll be back.